Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of my podcast, The Eidolon Wall. And because it's the month of Christmas, we're going to talk about the Starlight celebration in Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy 14. Because they're the same event, but just different games and that. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. Well, there's not much to really say about Final Fantasy 11, just because, well, I haven't played as much. I haven't played Final Fantasy 11 in a while. But so I'm mostly going to be talking about Final Fantasy 14, and we're going to go into a bit of depth about the celebration, how it started and stuff like that. So with the celebration, this Starlight celebration is also the first time in the Final Fantasy series. It's the first time in the Final Fantasy series. It's the first time in the Final Fantasy series where Christmas has been shown. Because Christmas has never been shown. Christmas or any other holidays from the real world have never been really shown in Final Fantasy. They've never really shown them. And Final Fantasy 11 is the first time it's been shown. Again, however, I do not. Sorry, my brain is not braining. I do not remember much about the Starlight Celebration 14 and in 11, however. And I wasn't able to find much information about that one. However, but I will talk about the one in 14. It happens. It happens every year. There's an in-game event. There's an in-game event. There's an in-game event where players can get all sorts of Christmas themed items. There are a lot of Christmas themed items. Just gonna put up some music for us to play as well, to set the tone. Hopefully you guys can hear the music fine. It's not overpowering me. Please let me know. Please let me know if you can hear the music fine and if it's not overpowering me. But yes, the Starlight celebration. So it's in 14. It's a celebration that goes back many generations. It has origins similar to the more non-religious, the more non-religious side of Christmas. Slight background music. Hear you clear? Okay, sweet. Turn the music up a little bit. But yeah, so the origins of Christmas are where they don't have the ones that don't have any connection to Christianity are there was Saint Nicholas used to give presents and donations to people who were less fortunate. In a time where people were poor and stuff like that as well, and impoverished and that. And some of these people were also women of the people, should we say? Women of the people. Because fun fact, Saint Nick, who Santa Claus is based on, is the patron saint of prostitutes. He is the patron saint of prostitutes. He would provide for women of women like that. And he would so he would give them food and clothes and a place to sleep and shelter and that as a way of just helping them out and helping them find helping them have a better life, a good life. And so he ended up becoming the patron saint of women like that. And of course, it all evolved into the Santa Claus we have today, where Saint Nick, Santa Claus, Kris Kringle, Father Christmas. It all evolved into that. And the Starlight celebration is similar because it dates back to the beginnings of the Dragon Song War in Final Fantasy XIV, between the Knights of Ishgard and the Dravanian Horde. Many were left homeless because of this war, including a lot of children who were forced to endure the land's cold and that. So to help out these poor unfortunate children, a handful of Ishgardian knights, they would smuggle the children underneath their red jackets, and they would take them into their barracks so the children could get out of the cold. They could have somewhere hot, they could have somewhere warm to sleep. They could have hot food. They could have shelter. They smuggled them underneath their red jackets because they were not allowed to do this. This was against orders. They were against the Knights Charter. They were not allowed to do this. So that's why they had to smuggle them under their red jackets. And that's the significance of the red jacket, which I will come to shortly. Eventually the fighting did stop. And the war did end in a ceasefire. And a bunch of orphans that the knights had helped, they wanted to pay forward the knights' kindness. So what they did is they dressed up in scarlet uniforms, and they would then go out and pass out gifts to the children of the realm. They would give gifts to the children of the realm, so the children of the realm could be happy. They could have some joys. They could have some toys or some food. Just adding to paying forward the gift of kindness that the Ishgardian knights gave to those orphans long ago. And that's generally how it would That's generally how it progressed, where they would pay tribute to those original knights and dress up in scarlet uniforms, give out gifts, and it became and then soon became what we know as Christmas. Obviously, in 5x14 they can't call it that, so that's why Starlight Celebration. Which, in my opinion, Starlight Celebration is actually I think that's a really good name. I think it's a really lovely name, Starlight Celebration. I think it's beautiful. And it soon came to the point where the children of the Eorzea soon believed that there was a Santa Claus-like figure who delivers them their gifts, some unseen figure. Because Ishgard, as with most places in Final Fantasy XIV, they resonate, not resonate. They worship one of the deities of Final Fantasy XIV, of Eorzea. The Ishgardians themselves, they are closely associated with the goddess Eidolon the Fury. Eidolon the Fury, but the captain who led these knights, who first sheltered the children, he was said to have had snowy hair and a big snowy beard, and because of his deeds with this, he soon became known to be associated with the goddess Naimea. I can't say his name right. What is it? It's Naimea. Naimea the Spinner. I need to read my Eorzea encyclopedias again, find out the names. And because of like with the story of Santa Claus, this snowy-haired and snowy-bearded captain, he became known as the Saint of Naimea. Believing that this now immortal, if unseen figure is the one who delivers their wish to presents from Naimea herself. And following similar to what children do, where they write letters to Santa. These children also wrote their wishes in an envelope that they would place underneath a properly decorated pine or fir tree. Again, similar to Christmas trees we have in real life. And just like that snowy bearded captain became known as the Saint of Nemea, his knights have become the Saint's Little Helpers. Of course, Santa's Little Helpers, elves. Oh, sorry. Excuse me, I do apologize. So there's a lot of, obviously there's a lot of parallels, and influences taken from, real life Christmas. Again, such as, the knights being the elves, the snowy bearded captain being the Saint of Nemea, the Santa Claus, the Saint Nick. And it starts out as a very good story, And then, of course, like with what's happened in real life, over the years, the folk legend of the Saint of Nemea has, it was further enhanced by people. Including I believe she's the leader of the Starlight celebration. I think it's the Starlight Celebrant, I think. And many citizens have said that they've been visited by the man, the man himself, by the Saint of Nemea himself. And not only were they given a gift, they were given, peace. They were given contentment. They were given, succor for their soul. Their souls were put at peace and at ease in the hours of, in the hours that children needed it most. Needed that peace, that peace of heart and peace of soul the most. And so that's how the legend came forth. And that's how the legend started. It's how it came forth. It's how it expanded into what the Orsiers know as their own version of Christmas today. Of course, in Eorzea, the modern Starlight celebration, the modern Starlight celebration is handled mostly by the Adventurers Guild now, but they also get assistance from all sorts of they also get some assistance from all sorts of people, including a philanthropist who is anonymous, but it's clear to who it is. It's Goodbert Manderville. I think that's his name. Yeah, I think it's Goodbert. Was it Goodbert? No, Godbert, sorry. I remember his name now. It's not Goodbert, it's Godbert. But yeah, Godbert Manderville is one man who helps work with it. And he definitely fits the Saint of Nemea look, because he himself has like a big white beard and that. So he definitely works for it in that. And what it is the Starlight Celebrant as well, who helps coordinate all, with the guilds and that, and all the people who organize and that. She coordinates little helpers, and these little helpers, to mirror the knights who first helped give gifts to these children years ago, during the Ishgard-Dravanian Forces War. These little helpers are the adventurers who volunteer to help with the Starlight Festival. Usually taking up whatever task is needed for that year. Usually helping deliver presents to the children. But of course, like what you can expect from the Warrior of Light, it's not always that simple. A lot of the Starlight celebrations are usually they're usually pretty they're pretty different. They can be pretty interesting because, again, the Warrior of Light, they don't live an ordinary life. Nothing's ever simple and ordinary for them. And of course, this also carried on during the first Final Fantasy XIV as well, before A Realm Reborn. and it was in one of the Starlight celebrations, that there was an odd change of climate in the Black Shroud, what is known as what is the area? It's the area around Gridania. But yeah, basically, there was an odd change of climate there. One year, in this Starlight celebration. What was his name? He was an Alamigian refugee. I think his name was Waldemar. I think it was Waldemar. He proposed an idea to the conjurers. He proposed an idea to the conjurers, who, like the Conjurers Guild, who are based in Gridania. The idea of holding a festival from his homeland. I think it was called Winter's Now. Of course, this is going back years because I haven't played the original. Obviously, I haven't played the original Final Fantasy 14 since it first came out, and you can't even play the original now. Anyway, it's all just Realm Reborn. It would be cool if they did release it so we could play the original, but yeah, I doubt it. And of course, so this Winter's Now was one of the Starlight celebrations that happened. But of course, the Winter's Now isn't a normal Starlight celebration. It was a tradition from Alamigo, where Waldemar is from. And what the Winter Now is, the Winter Now actually takes influence from the idea we have in real life of building snowmen, it snows, and of course from the story Frosty the Snowman, because what the festival entails is they build Father Frost, a giant of snow, and it's a ritual to usher in the blessings of winter. So they can wish for a nice winter, a forgiving winter, and so it's not as bad. And it's also used as a way to pray for the well-being of their loved ones, to wish them well in the winter and hope that they get through the winter with no problems. But for this Winter's Now, the conjurers had no exceptions. No, not exceptions. They had no expectations. Sorry. I knew there was an E word I was looking for. They had no expectations that the festival would actually do anything. It would. They had no expectations that it would actually, bring cold weather or it'd actually make it snow. They didn't think it would. They didn't think it would do anything. But because they allowed the ritual to proceed, because they allowed the ritual to proceed. They were able to bring peace of mind to the population, and doing this also helped improve the relationship with the Alamigan refugees as well, which is of course a very important thing because, well, since this whole celebration is based around Christmas, there's peace on Earth, or in this case peace on Eorzea. It's supposed to be a time of peace, a time of loved ones and that, or just getting along, if only. And it was kind of cool, players could, they could obviously join the event. Of course, again, this was back when Final Fantasy 14 was first started and all that. But yeah, they could go for the events. I'm trying to remember what they could have won. I think that you could have gotten a reindeer outfit, I believe. Yeah, I think you could have gotten a reindeer outfit by, what was it? I think you had to deliver, 30 ice shards, around that, 30, 25, around that number, to an NPC. To an NPC in each city. And then I believe you had to go to the Father Frost, and I think you had to use a certain emote on him. I can't remember what it was. You had to use a certain emote on him a certain number of times. And every time you completed the quest, naturally, I did this. I did this. Every time you completed the quest, Father Frost would grow in size. And then as he grows in size, he would then get other details, such as he'll get a bow tie, or he'll get a top hat. I'm not sure if he got a corn pipe, I can't remember. And it was pretty decent, because usually the Starlight celebration event lasted from, I think, around December, between December 15th and December 31st, I believe. But yeah, it would usually last until then, and it was a great event. It was a very nice event. And then I think the year after that, they had a different event as well, because that was the 2013 Star Celebration. I think it was, if I remember right, it was the adventurers seeking the aid. No, the main city seeking the aid of adventurers. So each year they did a different kind of celebration, a different, they had different things going on in the Starlight Celebration. I believe in 2013 we had sentient snowmen, I think. Of course, again, this is going back a while. I think we had sentient snowmen who were brought to help spread cheer. Unfortunately, I think something attacked them en route and they were postponed. I think it was imps. I can't remember. And so yeah, I remember you had to guide the snowmen back to safety. It wasn't too bad. And then of course, as the years went on, the Starlight Celebration did obviously change. It did improve. They added new stuff you could do, new stuff that you'd have to do for it. Where it would, I think one year it took place in 3 residential areas, rather than the city-states. Sorry, just having a quick stretch. And it also introduced, Santa's Little Helper the Santa's Little Helper, quests. Daily Santa's Little Helper quest, where you could dress up as one of the Saints' Little Helpers. You could, and you'd have to get letters from children, wishing for a gift, and then you would then have to deliver the gift, and I believe you'd get a fallen star token obtained as a reward for being able to, and you'd be able to redeem for Starlight Celebration stuff. And it was kind of funny because keeping in with the whole children putting letters underneath the trees, you actually had to retrieve the letters from large decorative fir trees called Starlight Sentinels. And so it kept up, and so the way they did it is they kept in with that, that story of the original Starlight Celebration with children putting letters underneath the fir trees for the Saints of Nymea to find and give them gifts and that. And it was pretty fun. You could get some you could get some pretty nice stuff, some new Starlight Celebration outfits. You could get some minions, and so it was a pretty fun time. But like I said, the Starlight Celebration marked the first time in Final Fantasy that we saw Christmas. Because again, we don't actually see Christmas or any other holiday or any other kind of religion in Final Fantasy. They stay clear. They generally stay clear of that stuff. So a Starlight Celebration is the first time we see Christmas in it, and obviously they don't want to go. They don't want to just go basic. Oh yeah, it's Christmas. They wanted to improve on it. Make their own twist on it. Make their own version of it. And just make it fun for players. Hopefully make it hopefully fun for players. And it was kind of fun. I think I forgot to do it last year. I can't remember. But yeah, they just add in new stuff each time. They add in new stuff each time. I need to do some research on what it was in Final Fantasy 11. What it was in Final Fantasy 11, but yeah. Sorry, my brain's not working today. But yeah, so as you can tell, like, the Starlight Celebration, it's generally loved by a lot of players because it receives a lot of players logging in, and it receives a lot of players logging in and trying to get these rewards, and there's a lot of, as you play through it, as you play through the Starlight Celebration event, there's a lot of the message of what Starlight Celebration's about. Giving to make people happy, not to receive. Just trying to help people out, or just bring cheer to people. Just the simple acts of like fulfilling these children's wishes. Yeah, you get a fallen star token which you can use to redeem rewards, but it's just the whole you're the way they're basically emulating Christmas, and the whole idea that you get to basically be be a Santa's little helper or a saint's little helper, and you get to help spread this cheer to children. And it's definitely a lovely event. I'm hoping that maybe with this, maybe they'll do other events, other holidays, other holidays similar to Christmas. Maybe we'll have a Hanukkah event, stuff like that. We have like events like Easter and Valentine's Day in it. But yeah, for the Starlight Festival celebration, though, yeah, it perfectly emulates Christmas in what Christmas would be like in Final Fantasy. It perfectly emulates it. It makes it has that sense of like, because you go around Eorzea. Yeah, the celebrations are simple. You get like Christmas trees or fir trees there, or starlight trees there. You got the Starlight Sentinels here, there, or you got decorations there. But the way that they've designed it is, it perfectly emulates the feel of Christmas. The feel of Christmas joy. Christmas tidings, holiday tidings. Love, peace, togetherness. And it all stemmed from a similar origins of Saint Nick. With the Saint of Nemea being the Saint of Nemea being that snowy bearded knight captain who took children into his barracks so they could have shelter and have a warm place to sleep. They could have food. They wouldn't have to be out in the cold blizzard. And I will admit, it is surprising they went with the red uniforms, because originally Santa Claus wasn't known for wearing red. He wasn't known for wearing red, because it wasn't until the Coca-Cola put Santa Claus in their commercials and their adverts that he gained his red look. Before that, there was no real mention of him wearing red in the story, and so it's great that with this Starlight Celebration, Square Enix they've put that explanation of the red outfits. The red uniforms were the outfits. They were the red uniforms that the knights used to smuggle the children into the barracks, so they could be warm and have food and have shelter. Because again, they were not supposed to do that. The Ishgardian Knights were not supposed to take civilians or take children into their barracks and into a military zone. But they did it anyway, because their hearts obviously went out for them. Their hearts went out for them because, well, like, it was a rough time. There was the war going on. And they obviously felt like, the children didn't deserve that. The children deserve to have that bit of, that peace, that bit of joy, that bit of cheer in their hearts. And what better way to heal their soul than to give them food or shelter, or just a simple gift that they don't have to give anything in return. They just need to be happy. They just need to show cheer. And I think that they definitely showed the cheer. But I had a lot of thought in my head now. But yeah, and I think I can't remember how long the Starlight celebration went on for in Eorzea. I think it went on for a couple 100 years, I think. But yeah, even the leaders of the cities soon partake in it, like the Sultana of Oldar. She's known to partake in it as well. Um, and it just ends up becoming an amazing time, an amazing event to look forward to every year in 14, because even with all the items you can get in that, and all the items you can get from past Starlight celebrations, there's just that, like, because it's also great for people who for people who, you know, they may not be having a good Christmas. They can log into Final Fantasy 14 and they could. I've seen people have, you know, parties in Final Fantasy 14, you know, with their characters, and they have like a Christmas party. They laugh, they chat, you know, they have a good time. And so it just goes to show that even in a video game, a Christmas-like holiday can bring people together. You know, it can bring people together. It can bring them cheer. It can bring them happiness, and they could just forget their troubles. And like with the Ishgardian children during the Draconian War, their souls can be healed from the cheer of the holiday. So the Starlight Festival is definitely it's definitely something I really hope stays in Final Fantasy. I would love to see maybe, you know, Christmas in other Final Fantasies. But who knows? I know even Ever Crisis, the mobile game Ever Crisis, I know they've done Christmas outfits. Final Fantasy Dissidia Opera Omnia that I used to play on mobile, they did Christmas outfits. So because of Final Fantasy 14 doing the Starlight celebration, other Final Fantasy games have then started to do, you know, Christmas-like events in their games as well. Although I think Ever Crisis is the only Final Fantasy game that's actually still operational. I think it's still up, it's still going. We'll see how long that takes. We'll see how long that lasts. But yeah, again, it just goes to show that the Starlight celebration being in Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy 14, it's paved the way for a lot of potential for other future holiday events, or it's paved the way for a lot of future events. Maybe, you know, again, maybe we'll get other events and other holidays, you know, Christmas, or maybe we'll get Valentine's Day, or maybe birthdays. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. And yeah, so the Starlight Celebration is definitely, again, it's definitely one of my favorite events in 14 because of the whole, you know, the whole Christmas aspect and just the whole story of it. Sorry, my brain just doing a brain. But yeah, but hopefully, you know, let me know, you know, hopefully you guys will, hopefully you guys will agree, you know, that the Starlight Celebration sounds like a lovely time. I know this episode isn't really a long one, just because there's not a lot to talk about the Starlight Celebration, but I want to do something Christmassy. You know, I wanted to do something Christmassy, you know, to keep up the theme of Christmas, you know, keep up the theme of holiday and that. So it's not a massively long episode. But who knows? Maybe if any of you, I unfortunately may not be able to log into Final Fantasy 14 this year for Starlight Celebration. I'm gonna try, but hopefully for anyone who does play 14, hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you enjoy it if you've done any other Starlight Celebrations in the past. Hopefully you enjoy them as well. But again, I like to think that, yeah, having the Starlight Celebration, having the Christmas-like event in 14, it paves the way for potential more other real life celebrations to appear in the Final Fantasy series. You know, who knows? Excuse me. Who knows? Maybe we'll get again. Maybe we'll get, like I said, maybe we'll get other holidays in Final Fantasy. Maybe we'll get Christmas in another Final Fantasy. Actually called Christmas. Who knows? Maybe they'll do a demented Santa boss in 14. Who knows? But yeah, again, there's not much really to talk about with the Starlight Celebration. It's gonna be kind of a short one, but again, it's just I like it's just the parallels between Christmas in real life, the non-religious one, the non-Christian version. There's a lot of parallels, to the actual legend of Santa Claus, Saint Nick, or in this case Saint of Nymea, or however you say the name. But yeah, who knows? Maybe I think I'm just repeating myself now. But yeah, who knows? It could be the start of us getting more Christmas stuff in Final Fantasy. I think that's all I can really say about the Starlight Celebration, because again, there's not really much to go on, because a lot of it is mostly just in-game play. So there's not really a lot to talk about with the Starlight Celebration. The music of the Starlight Celebration, in line with the Christmas theme, it does, like this music here is from the Starlight Celebration. It keeps that Christmas theme, that where like, yeah, it keeps that Christmas theme where it feels like Christmas, it feels like a holiday, it feels like it feels like you're at Christmas time. Like maybe looking out the window, looking at the snow, or you're sitting in front of a roaring fire as you open your Christmas present, or whichever. I don't know. But yeah, the music of the Starlight Celebration definitely helps with it, because I believe for the whole event, Starlight Celebration, the music changes to be a bit more Christmassy, I believe. And yeah, it's definitely great music. It's definitely great atmosphere, decorations. The quests are really good. I also believe we get some of the monsters also take on like Christmas kind of aspects as well. I think one year there was a cactuar in a Santa outfit. I can't remember. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Starlight Celebration. Like I said, this was going to be a short episode because there's not much to talk about with the Starlight Celebration. I think I've pretty much covered it all. Yeah, I think I've pretty much covered it all. But yeah, because this is going to go on YouTube, please feel free to let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and yeah, just feel free to check out my my Twitch or my my other content on YouTube. And I just hope that you I hope that you have a good Christmas if you're watching this at Christmas. Look in the chat. Cooper Bowie just popped in. Hey Bowie, good to see you. Sorry I didn't reply. I was too busy waffling. But yeah, like I said, a short podcast episode today. I was gonna try and have guests to talk about with this, but I couldn't get it set up in time. So unfortunately, it's just me. But yeah, like I said, anyone on YouTube watching this, feel free to let me know what you think of the Starlight Celebration. If you've played the game, feel free to share your experiences with the event. And if you're watching this at Christmas time, I hope you guys have a great Christmas. Once again, thank you for watching. Please give a like and subscribe if you liked the episode, and I shall see you in the next one. Take care, everyone, and have a Merry Christmas if you're watching this around Christmas.